Hi, everybody. This is Willie, and that's Connie Miller.
Oh,
She's
they
my
know
wife.
me.
Yeah, they know you.
Most of you do.
So today, we just decided we're just going to talk about overcoming struggles, and I'm not sure where all this is going to go, but I know we've been excited about this ever since we started talking about it yesterday. We was talking about it, and it kind of stirred in both of our hearts. So
Right.
Anyway,
Where are we going to go, Willie?
I don't know. Let's just start with the first thing, just the struggle in itself, just trying to get past that, the thing.
We all got stuff, don't
yes,
we?
Yes, uh-huh.
We all got struggles.
Yeah.
Some things are the besetting sin. Or the struggle.
Uh-huh.
Some things are new.
Right.
But every day can be a challenge, right? I mean, I hear from people all the time with really some serious life challenges, and I don't take that lightly when people reach out to me, because that shows a form of trust.
Right.
And we were talking about trust. Trust means to let.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. Trust means to let.
That's it.
So there's two ways we can go here today. How are we going to go, Willie?
I'm just riding the horse. We'll just go where it goes, okay?
Well, I was reading a True Face. I don't know if it's a group. If you haven't heard of it, it's they have their whole website, but it's called True Face, and it's a whole big article. And I did read it to the guys today because I think it's really critical. But like, if I don't trust you, then you can't love me.
Right.
Right. So when somebody opens up with something they're going through, that is them letting you. Like, to trust means to let. They're letting you into their world, right? Don't take that lightly, because that's a big deal.
Connie, I think I'm just going to say, I'm going to be a little vulnerable here. I was just thinking about this. It's really, I think, harder or more difficult for men to do that, because we're always supposed to be this fixer. In fact of the matter, I'm just going to be me here.
Be you there?
Yeah. One of the things, well, maybe it's not me, but one of the things that you tell me about all the time is that is probably one of my weaknesses, is not really allowing yourself to, or allowing you to see myself whenever I'm going through struggles, kind of holding things back. And when you read that article about the letting, it just really touched my heart, because it just kind of stirred up something. I'm really good at letting you dump on me
Or other people,
yes,
know.
But to flip that around is really.
I don't think it's
tough.
just a man thing either,
No.
but because I know some men that are they're good at doing that, know. But it goes back to what we've been through and our woundedness too.
That's true.
Our childhood woundedness, things that we've overcome, and things like that. I like how the definitions of identity is how I see myself. Then you have the trust, means to let. Humility is a posture of I can't. Okay? And love is the process of meeting needs. Man, I don't think we realize this. What does love look like? It looks like meeting the needs of others. And that's why we need others.
It is.
We're not an island. And all these things are interconnected. All of them, right? And I like how they say humility leads to trust, which unlocks love. So humility says, I can't, therefore I will let you, which is trust. Right? So I need help. Like, I can't. That's humility, right? And trust is a byproduct or a posture of humility, and both are relational. So anyway, there's a lot more I could say. So
that brings it back to what I always tell the guys in prison: find somebody. When you go home, you can't do it alone. And I'm really good at telling people you can't do it. Yeah.
I know. I'm glad you're saying this yourself, because this has been an issue probably throughout most of our marriage. But it's not an attack. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
everybody's different. I have different things too that is not as easy for me to.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm pretty much but I trust you though.
Right.
I can't, so I have let you, right? I let you in and trust you, right?
And that brings us to a point, with myself, and I want to go back to you in just a second. I'm going to pick on me for just a minute. The more I'm able to trust somebody with, hey, I'm struggling with A, B, C, then the more I can find myself in a position where I can let somebody speak into me. And one of the things that you've done extremely well in our marriage is letting me into that part of you where you struggle. And
because I'll say, how come I never hear about your struggles?
but with that, in fact, there's been an amazing amount of growth in you. And
I wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
I guess we should just go into it because that seems to be the way we're going. But
right.
Our overcoming is, I think, related to this too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to kind of read some of this article because it's just so good to not read. So it says like the ceiling or limits of the depths of our love isn't how much we love somebody, right?
Right.
It's or how much that person loves us. It's limited in how much we let that person love us, right? Which is connected to how much we trust, right? But we all have shame, don't we?
Right.
Shame really has a voice in our lives a lot of times. I know, we think like, well, if they only knew, right? If they only knew this.
Right.
Or if you process the fears with this person, would they lose respect for me? Come on, this is things that we think, right? Maybe they won't really love me because we can give voice to, well, I'll love you no matter what. But then what if they tell you something that's like, well, you considered the worst of the worst? I mean, come on. What if, right?
Where's the line drawn?
So what we do is we distance ourselves from some of our junk, right? And when we do this is what we miss out on a deeper level of being known and being loved. I mean, come on. And we're the ones missing out.
Right. That's good stuff. Right.
And see, this is I relate to this very well. Like a lot of us don't really like ourselves. And see, our shame, it screams at us, right? It screams louder about how screwed up that we are, right?
Yeah.
How we are unlovable, and we agree with it.
Right.
A lot of times we agree with it.
Can I stop you right there for a minute? Because I think that's an incredible point. Because I can remember, and I'm just going to do this for just a second. I can remember the first day I met you, and you gave yourself like this look at me, like this is all I am. And I never forget that look that you gave me. It was like, here I am, and maybe
the day we first physically met.
Yeah. And I didn't see you in that way, but I felt that you was that way. And I remember so many times in the prison that the guys I talked to, they consider themselves, I'm a loser, I'm just a so-and-so. And they bring on this word, and they say this a lot, I'm a convict. And I say, no, that's what has happened to you. You have been convicted of a crime, but you're not a convict. That's not your identity. But we take on these things.
Remember, identity is how we see ourselves.
Yeah, we take on these things and we hold on to these things. This is all I am.
Right.
I've been rejected. I've been whatever it is. And we hold on to these things to the point. And I have to say for myself, it was like I can remember being told you'll never be able to graduate high school. I remember my principal telling my mother that once that, but we're going to try to get him through so he can get a degree. His diploma. And I took that on. I took on that identity, and not only did I take it on, I quit high school with that belief. And I believed that for several years.
Man, look how smart you are now. You were, you know.
Well, I wasn't looking for a compliment, but come on. but I want some more. No, I'm teasing. But we believe these things to the point that we live our life according to that identity that we have given to ourselves. Not that other people have given to us, but we
And some
do.
people do, but
Yeah.
you know,
And
we take it on in a lot of different ways.
it wasn't until I was older and I started going to school for myself that I realized that that wasn't true. And it changed my whole thinking about myself, because
Right.
you know, that was one thing that I thought I will always have. And you know, so just having something that can change that look, I mean, that thought about yourself. Whenever these guys, and I'm going to let you have this in a minute, when these guys get their first certificate in one of the programs that I oversee, it totally changes them. I mean,
Yeah, when I go in,
radically.
what do I always talk about? Identity, their union, how God sees them. And you've seen how some of these men transform, but it's for us too. Like,
Right, but that's where I was going. It does. It changes how we think about ourselves. Once you hear one thing,
and you
know,
got to keep hearing it
right.
for a while. You know, you got to keep hearing it.
The first time I told you you was going to be a teacher, you rolled your eyes and said, "No, I'm not."
Yeah.
And now, my goodness, you've taken on. You've realized that not only are you a teacher, but you're a phenomenal teacher, and you started believing that stuff about.
Well, you have to see it about yourself before you can even
Right.
make it happen to manifest it. If you can't see it, it won't happen, right?
So
So,
how important
How
that
people speak
identity-
into us
Right.
is really critical.
And so how important also how you believe about yourself.
Oh yeah.
That it's just incredible.
So shame, I think shame is like humility. Oh no, I'm nothing. I'm just, just little old me. And that's shame talking. Like, I had shame. When I first met you, a lot of shame was speaking to me. But humility is thinking only about thinking rightly, thinking of ourselves rightly in relation to our Creator.
That's it.
Right? And so humility and surrender are siblings that focus on how we can't, but God did and He does.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
God did and He does, right? So humility expands as we focus more on God and less on ourselves.
Yeah, can I hold on to that for just a second, because I want to chew on this whole humility thing, because I think that's a big thing, because we're taught humility is saying, "Oh, it's not me, it's all God," in a way that says that
I'm nothing.
I'm nothing. But that's not true, because God designed us for that purpose, and whatever the purpose
And
is.
we're partners with God.
Yeah, we're partnering with God, and so humility is believing what God says about you, which totally changes.
I know
everything.
it does, because boy, I wasn't taught humility in that regard
Right.
at all. The worse you feel about yourself, the more humble you are.
Right.
That's what was portrayed.
But true humility is speaking what God says about
Right.
you.
So here's what shame does. It keeps us fixated on ourselves, right? Disbelieving how God sees us. So here, this is big. If we don't like ourselves and are ashamed of ourselves, so if we don't like ourselves, no wonder we struggle to receive love from our spouse, God, our friendships, right? Or anybody. Because if we let that person love us, then we'll be disagreeing with our own perspective of our identity and how we view ourselves.
Yes.
Right? That we are unlovable or undeserving of love. And this is like our kids, like our adolescent kids, even our adult kids. If they're what they believe about their identity, and if they're insecure, they have insecurity issues, then we won't be able to love them, right? Because they don't love themselves. Remember, trust means to let, right? And love is the process of meeting needs, right? So I have to let you love me, trust, right? So needs can be met. Does that make sense?
It makes good sense. That's incredible.
So I don't think we really realize how much our identity is connected to our ability to receive love. Because, man, you loved me, but boy, because I was so messed up in my identity, I couldn't receive that love. It was a fight all the time. I mean, like, a struggle, right? It was. Come on, it was. And even with you, it's a different, it comes in a different form, but so if we see ourselves undeserving of love, then we can't let others love us because we don't believe them or think they should, right? And I see this all the time. I see this in the relationships around us, in marriages, that this is the barrier. It was the barrier with you and I. And I didn't believe that I was worth loving. I didn't believe that we might say it, but in here, no, I did not believe it. I didn't.
I was just thinking about, because if you grew up in a home, and I pray you didn't, but if you grew up in a home when if you're belittled or told you're no good or you're just a brat,
there's fear.
And you have fear and all this, then you're going to take on that, and it's going to be very difficult for you to ever allow somebody in and love them, let them love you. And so you're always defending yourself. You're always trying to
That's a big
convince somebody.
We do things to kind of convince ourselves that we are lovable.
Right.
Even though we don't feel that way.
But yeah, you feel
proving ourselves.
Yeah, you feel like crap about yourself the whole time.
So we got to prove ourselves. So that can go into overachieving, and things got to look so such and such a way, and then because we're just hiding all this shame that we really feel and how we feel about ourselves.
And then whenever somebody comes to you and tries to show you a different way to do something, you take it on as an attack. Because
that's big.
Yeah, and you're always in that battle. Yeah. And it's not that at all, but people might be really trying to speak life into you or pull you up
to help you.
But yet you see it as a personal attack against you.
Because it's how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely.
Boy, that's big. So I do believe it's true that we can only receive love to the degree that we love ourselves, because those beliefs have to go together and they can't oppose each other. And just really think about this. It's true with our friends, our marriages, and even with God. It's easy to see it with our relationships, but not. It's even about with God, right? How we view ourselves, usually comes from our wounding, right? We have unresolved wounding that affects our view of God and ourselves. And this prevents us from being able to let other people love us. Unresolved wounding.
Well, even in a spiritual sense, it puts a barrier not between God and you, but between you and God. And
so I'm going to read this because this is just what you said. So take a dam. We're sitting on top of a dam, right? And at the base of this, it's limitless supply of living water, right? And the water is what we all are really thirsting for. It's what we want. And the living water is intimacy and connectedness with our Father, with our Creator. And we want to experience His love, right? But there's a massive dam in between us and what we're longing for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The dam is our fear that is rooted in shame. And our fear tells us it's safer to keep the walls up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. I had a lot of walls.
That's right.
Safer. Now we say, well, no, I know what I'm looking for. You know, I'll take the easier way.
There you go.
Right? I'll do this myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
The safe way. And the reality is that our fears are what the walls are made of, right? And they are a blockade preventing us from experiencing love from God and others. It's
Mm-hmm.
our fear that prevents us from experiencing love from God and others,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it keeps us thirsty, and it quietly kills us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those, not literally, but you know what I mean. It kills our emotions. It kills things that we enjoy, that we could enjoy, our relationships, right? So, but when we trust, we open up a valve, and it allows this water to flow. And it's in our relationships when we finally let down our walls and allow ourselves to trust. It unlocks living water of love in our lives, first from God and then from others. I thought this was the best example of what we do.
Yeah.
We do this, and we're preventing the very thing that we need, right?
Yeah. In fact, of the matter, while you were talking about that, I was thinking about myself, and I'm going to expose a little bit more.
Good for you.
So, I grew up, you know, afraid of my dad my whole life. I mean,
So
literally.
you grew up in a fear-based home.
Yeah. And I grew up in a church that taught me that God's going to get you for that.
You better watch out.
Yeah. And anyway, I had this vision of the Lamb's Book of Life that had Willie Miller's name on it. And it was about 7 million pages already. Up in and out and in.
Oh yeah,
and out,
erase
and a few,
put it back in.
Yeah, a few whippings in there. Well, not a few, a lot of whippings in there, and a little bit of chastising and you know, lightning striking here and there, and all this stuff in this book. So my whole life was based on my life and relationship was based on fear. And
So your nervous system was programmed to fear,
yeah, all the time.
and it goes into adulthood.
Yeah, and so I couldn't allow myself to be or to express myself in a genuine way because of that fear. So I wouldn't say,
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't say how I felt about something or whatever it was.
That's been really big.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not dissing you. That's just a reality, and our, you know, and
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. And so this is how it was. And I think the first glimpse I got of God not being that way was literally whenever I was in my accident.
Yeah.
And it was just a
Yeah.
glimpse. Not that I even understood it then, but I thought about that. I mean, I was full of trash and all this stuff, but I felt his love all over me, even in the mess I was in.
Yeah.
And it was my very first glimpse of God's unconditional love. And it's been over and over
It's been a
again.
journey.
Yeah, of glimpses of his love. So the point I'm getting at is, number one, you know, yeah, you're not going to wake up one day and say, okay, I'm not going to fear to let somebody love me. But
It's a subtle inward thing. It's we don't even realize it's happening sometimes. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It was just a step by step, and maybe one thing after another.
And you know, there may be times that we think we got it, and we do got it, but like it'll come back up, and then we'll want to react and hide, put the walls up, and no, you can't love me.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I think is real important in this, and then I'm going to be quiet, is understanding that it's okay where you are in your journey. And because, you know, you were sharing with me how many people was talking about how they struggled with stuff for sometimes years. And yeah, maybe you can control the temptation, but maybe you're faced this temptation the rest of your life. But
And we talked about that today, though.
yeah,
You could go into that, but that's a whole different area.
yeah.
of it.
But I'm not going to. But the point is just being able to love yourself in the way that Father does while you're going through your process, and not worry about,
That's hard for us.
Yeah.
It's hard for us.
Yeah. And
But we're getting better.
yeah.
You and I are. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I'll let you go on.
So, how do we move towards love? Because love is the process of meeting needs, right? So in humility, what we do is we believe what God says about us.
Mm-hmm.
And trusting Him, we trust who He says we are, which is what? Redeemed, forgiven, innocent, righteous, loved, blameless, chosen, precious, all kinds of things, right?
Right.
We choose to believe what God says. And most of all, that He actually likes us.
That's it.
He actually likes us.
That's cool.
So, and this is what quiets the voice of shame. Because, it might always kind of be there, but now you don't hear it anymore. Because, wait a minute. His voice is so much louder now, right? Mm-hmm. His voice. And He quiets the fears, right? He calms the anxieties. That's connected to what? Our anxieties are always connected to lies.
Right.
To lies. And to our shame.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we have to do is open the valve and let others love us. Right? So, to let God love us and to experience the love we're longing and made for. And we practice trusting God and others. We get every day to practice, don't we?
Right.
And, because we're made in His image. All of us. I don't care. Somebody doesn't know Him. We are still, it's distorted image, but we're still made in His image.
That's it.
Right? He made us for relationships and for love to be possible in those relationships. That's just the bottom line, right? So, we work out the trust muscle. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the easier it gets, right? Every day, work this trust muscle out. I love that. In humility, we bring something that's on our heart or that we're concerned about or struggling with to God or someone in our life. And then we trust them with the real us to let them love us. Let them meet our needs of being. Now, here's the needs that we have. To be seen. All of us want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when God spoke that to me. Some of these symptoms, because you just never felt seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Seen. To be soothed.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little baby. We need to be soothed, don't we?
Yes.
We need to be safe and we need to be secure.
Right.
Those are the 4 primary needs that we have. Right? Think about that. Can you think about that in your own life? Seen, soothed, safe, secure. And guess what? In God, God gives us all that.
Mm-hmm.
He sees us, fully sees us. He soothes us because we're always His child. He's always our daddy, right? When we're upset, when we're hurt, He's the soother, right? We're always safe in Him and we're always secure. There's nothing that's going to break that security.
Mm-hmm.
We can't break it. We think we really got the power to break that.
Mm-mm.
We don't.
But we bring up foes or whatever it is to try to.
He ain't going nowhere.
Right.
This is not going anywhere. So, and I find with temptations and stuff, like we talked about this today with the guys, is that, you don't ever overcome something by focusing on it.
Right.
By trying to not do it, that never works.
Mm-hmm.
What's our focus need to be?
On Jesus.
Right. So the more we get our minds focused, like He's in me, He is my life, and knowing how He feels about us, and just these things that just start to become a habit of ruminating in our mind, right? Doing things that we actually like to do. We got to replace that thing, like, so like, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? Do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where your gifts and your talents and your abilities lie.
Right. That's good. That's real good. So I had I don't know if I want to go there or not, but I'm going to go. So I had a vision as you was talking about that, and the verse came up to me that reminded me, I don't know why I was looking at the table. Sorry about that. Okay. I guess I wanted you to see my bald head. But anyway, it reminded me of the scripture that said, and they were naked and unashamed. And why did it remind me of that? Because they were so confident in Father that they did not mind coming up to him naked, unashamed, just open and honest.
And that doesn't necessarily mean physical.
No,
I think
the
nakedness is like everything we are.
Yes, absolutely.
Like everything.
That's what it was just really stirred in my head, in my mind. They could literally come up to them with anything, with him.
With them, you're right.
Yeah, with anything and everything. And Father, they knew that Father wouldn't reject them.
Their identity was his identity.
That's
there was no like distorted identity.
Right. And I just think about that picture for just a minute, how beautiful that must have been. And that's what he wants to have with us. That kind of intimacy.
I mean, it's like he doesn't know it anyway.
Right.
But he wants us to come as a child like that. Daddy, I got a boo-boo, and just come on. What does a little child do?
Right.
We need to be like that with our Father.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool whenever you sit there and think about that. That we literally
take off the tough facade.
Yeah, and
right.
But yeah, we still think that even if we're people that are in the grace camp, if you will, that there's this limit to it, but there's really not. There's really not. It's unlimited. And we can come up to him with our nakedness, and I'm talking emotional, that we can literally come up to him with our nakedness and say, I can't do this.
Like, I'm feeling this way, God, about this person.
Yeah.
Why? Help me,
Yeah.
Just being
I'm struggling
raw.
with my
identity today, or
identity, whatever it is, and just come up to him, and he can come up and sit down and say, this is who you are.
Because everything we do that's overboard, right, that's wrong, comes from a mistaken identity.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, really.
Period.
How we're seeing ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we view others, and how we view God. It's all about mistaken identity that causes us to do these things and go to things and, go out of the healthy boundaries that he puts before us for our benefit.
That's it.
So when you start seeing it that way, you start seeing people a little differently, and you can really get to the root of what. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to really figure out what the root is to some of people's issues.
Right.
Because we all have these issues
Yeah.
at the root. Come on, we do.
That's what I was thinking about when you were going over that, and it just really stirred me up.
So be encouraged. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're struggling with, whether it's how you're feeling about yourself. It does not matter. And to find that person, take the step to let somebody love you.
And let
and even, yes. But, I find a lot of times he does it through people.
That's right.
That's where I tangibly feel it, If you were tangibly Jesus to me. Even though you didn't even realize it sometimes, and you had your own. His life works through our life. His life manifests through our life. So without us even realizing it most times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes I didn't do it so good.
Well, none of us on our own. When we get on our own trying to do it, right? Trying to do it. But then again, it comes back to how we see ourselves.
Right.
Affects how we treat others, how we let them love us. So remember, if I don't trust you or you don't trust me, you can't love me.
That's it.
Not that you don't love the people or they don't love you, but you won't be able to be loved because of all these walls and barriers. And it's not always the other person's fault, usually. right? We come with these barriers.
That's it. That's it. We got to open the valve, huh?
Open the valve. Let the living waters flow. I mean, the living water's in us, but
Mm-hmm.
we've just got to open it.
That's it.
There's a dam just waiting to burst forth,
Yes.
to burst out of us.
That's it.
And quit letting fear
Drive
be
us.
our dictator, right?
Right. Wow, that was good, Connie.
Well, anyway,
That's good
we
preaching.
could go longer, but
Yeah.
we've probably given you enough for one day.
Yeah, we'll be back. I can guarantee.
It's been a couple weeks, but I went on vacation, and we'll be back again.
All right.
So
Thanks
we hope
for-
that you were encouraged today, and we love you all. We really do.
Yeah,
and we
thanks for
appreciate
watching.
you.
A like is always appreciated.
Yes,
Just to
share. Yes.
just let us know that you're hearing what we're talking about. And
Yes.
hopefully it helps you. Also, real quickly, I'm just going to go this again. Like we mentioned a lot about prison ministry. If you want to help, it's real simple. Just a donation. You don't have to leave your home to help out with it. Connie's got a new journal out.
Yes.
You can buy one of those.
It's
That'll
on my
help
website,
out.
www.conniemiller.online. You can push the pay now buttons for any of the books or the journal, and then there is a donate button. Clear, if you scroll clear down, it's little, but it's there.
Mhm.
Or you can private message me,
Yeah.
and I've got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
Mhm.
But I really appreciate everybody that's been so supportive and prayers and just encouraging words through Facebook, and
Yeah.
it's exciting having all these friends and family out there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if you wanted something useful to get something useful out of your money, go get that journal. Wow.
Yeah, you can
It's-
gift it too,
Yeah.
because it's just got little nuggets of little things that God says, and just to stir some thoughts. And you can use a journal for anything, but
Yes. So,
and it's big. It's big,
got
not small
plenty-
print.
it's got
So
plenty of room for you to write.
yes, I actually like it. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it to be that big. I knew I sized it, but it's like when you get it, it's like wow. But I really like it. So
Yeah. It's pretty. Too.
yeah. All right.
Right.
Y'all have
Thank
a
you.
great day.
God bless you.
Yes. Bye bye.